Novo lit that shit and bang.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crows of Judgment, and Black Widow is out this weekend, but I saw this article on Bounty into Comics. I want to talk about it. Scarlett Johansson doubles down on Me Too marketing for Black Widow. Now, for those of you who are unaware, originally, I guess, Scarlett Johansson had made some sort of statement about how she didn't like the way that Black Widow is basically treated as like a sex symbol in like Avengers and everything. And, you know, when I heard the statement, I was like, one, why would you ever sign up to play a femme fatale character if you don't want to be treated as a sex symbol? Because, like, literally, that's actually one of the core things about the character, is that they use their attractiveness to you know, get what they want. I don't know a better way of putting it, but it's an actual like trope of that character, and it's something, you know, Black Widow in the comics, that's the type of character she is. Now, look, if you don't want to be a femme fatale character and you think that they're demeaning to women, fine, but like, they do exist in all forms of media. Black Widow is one of those characters. The other issue I kind of had with the statement when I kind of heard about it was, especially when you look at like the first film she appears in, which is Iron Man 2, versus how she's made out to kind of be like a leader when you get into you know, Avengers Endgame. Her character radically changed, right? That doesn't really, like, it came across to me as such a weird comment to make, because it's obviously against who the character is, and also Marvel was already like changing the role of the character, and by, I mean, I want to say Avengers 2, like Age of Ultron and everything, I guess there was the romance with the Hulk, but it wasn't like they were, you know, doing like naughty bed scenes or anything. Come on. Like, I found the whole thing weird. But a lot of people started, you know, getting upset and saying, oh, Black Widow is going to be a super woke film. I honestly don't know. I really don't. But what I can say is I don't honestly think that this is really going to affect the marketing too much for Black Widow. Because literally, Scarlett Johansson could walk outside in blackface and people are still going to go see the Black Widow movie. Because they've been waiting for a solo Black Widow film for a long-ass time. She's a fan favorite character. She's been in the MCU since Iron Man 2, and she's never had her own film. Like, it's gonna sell gangbusters, right? It's not like a Captain Marvel situation where, you know, they tried to shoehorn Brie Larson in at the very end, and she was very unlikable to begin with, and the movie was garbage. It's a lot of problems. I don't think this is really going to affect Black Widow ticket numbers. I'll be honest with you, I'm planning on still going to see the film, but I'm going to wait for a few reviews to come out from people that I trust and see what they say. Because I'll be in Houston this weekend, so I doubt I'm going to have time to go see the film anyways. Actress Scarlett Johansson doubled down on her Me Too-inspired marketing for the upcoming Black Widow film. Most recently, Johansson spoke with Time for an article decrying Black Widow as a sexist. Yeah, because she's an idiot. What do you want me to say? Like, Scarlett Johansson takes those roles. Like, this isn't even the first time she's taken the role of a femme fatale character, right? If you don't want those roles, don't take them. Let another actress take it, rather than taking the role from the actress that wants it and then going and trying to score like brownie points on social. I just don't get it. I really don't. But it's really dumb. I can at least say that much. The actress stated in the beginning she was used as kind of chess piece for her male counterparts. Yeah, at the start she was. It just didn't end that way. Now, to give Johansson the benefit of the doubt, it's unclear in what context the comment was made. However, Time's Eliana Doctorman, who has a history of attacking superheroes, implies that it was made as a criticism of the character in her previous appearances in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if that is the case, it makes absolutely no sense. Thank you. Because Black Widow is indeed a chess piece to one of her male counterparts, and that's Nick Fury because, shockingly, she actually worked for him. He happily used her skills on a number of missions, including recruiting Bruce Banner and Tony Stark into the Avengers. Which is also true, but I will say, they definitely, like, I remember watching Iron Man 2, there were a couple shots that were, you know, definitely more on the younger boy side of things, right? Like, you get what I'm saying, right? It's just, it's also true that even though they showed her, I guess in certain ways, like wasn't there like some fucking joke like a long time ago on one of those late night shows about like the best? Was it Conan O'Brien? I think Conan O'Brien like did this like rapid pull like answering thing with one of his guests, and like one of the things he asked was like the best special effects in the Avengers, and the dude there's like Scarlett Johansson's ass. I mean, it's definitely true that she was definitely more sexualized in like the beginning, but at the same time she was also a badass character, right? Like the scene where she goes to recruit Bruce Banner, she straight up just pulls out the fucking gun and she's got a whole fucking team behind her, right? Like stuff like that was pretty good. The backflip and taking out someone with their hair was weird, but again, she actually did both at the start of the MCU. Towards the end of the MCU, they took out all the more sexualized stuff and just made her just a badass, right? Which is fine, but at the same time, it's not who the character is. I just don't know why you'd want to play the character. She was not a chess piece to anyone else. In fact, Iron Man 2 makes it clear she's not a chess piece for Tony Stark, as she reveals she's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and her whole purpose of getting close to Stark was on orders from Fury. Yeah, but to be clear, in the actual film, when she's first introduced, it comes across a little bit differently. In Captain America the Winter Soldier, she's not a chess piece for Cap either, to actually work together in order to put a stop to Hydra. I mean, they left some flirtatious stuff in Winter Soldier, but by then, she was definitely a more prominent character and everything. But back then, they were able to weave those two aspects of the character together. You know, she'd be flirtatious, sexy and everything, but at the same time, total fucking badass who'd fucking put a bullet in your brains, right? And again, Scarlett Johansson played the role very fucking well. Then in Captain America Civil War, she plays both sides and eventually helps Captain America acquire the Quinjet at the airport scene. Yep, completely true. More recently in Avengers Endgame, she became the head of Avengers and was... Yeah, I've already talked about that. So in one sense, she might have been a chess piece, but that was in her duties as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent under Nick Fury. Otherwise, she's made a lot of her own decisions and been key in helping the Avengers succeed. All you have to do to know that is to watch the actual movies. True. The comments comes from a couple weeks after Johansson commented on Black Widow's hypersexualization in Iron Man 2 that were reportedly made back in 2019 and recently published by Collider to promote the Black Widow film. Okay. All right. Like I said, if it's in Iron Man 2, that is how she was portrayed in Iron Man 2. But again, she was still a badass, so I was cool with it. Like, you're not. I don't know why you'd want to play that type of character, because that's literally the trope of the character. She was asked by Collider, there is a sort of sexualization of superheroes. How did that affect Black Widow? Johansson responded, yeah, it definitely has changed. I think part of that change has probably, it's hard because I'm inside it, but probably a lot of that is actually from me too. I'll be 35 years old and I'm a mom and my life is different. I think that's very fair. Obviously, 10 years have passed and things have happened. I have a much different, more evolved understanding of myself, she continued. She went on, as a woman, I'm in a different place in my life, you know, and I felt more forgiving of myself as a woman and not sometimes probably not enough. I'm more accepting of myself, I think. She then addressed the hypersexualization of Black Widow in Iron Man 2. All of that is related to that move away from that kind of hypersexualization, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you look back at Iron Man 2, and while it was really fun and had a lot of great moments in it, the character is so sexualized, you know? I mean, like, it's a fair statement. I remember watching Iron Man 2, but I had no issues with it. Now, as Scarlett Johansson gets older, and it's not me insulting her or anything, I just mean, you know, she's saying, like, she's older now, she's a mom now, and these things are different for her now. So I can understand why she wouldn't want to feel like she's being portrayed as a piece of ass, but I don't think that that's necessarily true to how she was in Iron Man 2, because she did kick ass. In fact, I think if it wasn't for her, like, Tony and Rhodey be pretty much fucking dead. After being prompted by Collider's Ashley Robinson, she continued, "I want some, yeah." And at one point, she calls her a piece of meat. Maybe at the time that actually felt like a compliment. You know what I mean? Because my thinking was different. Johansson elaborated, "Maybe I even would have, my own self-worth was probably measured against the type of comment, or like a lot of young women, you come into your own and you understand your own self-worth. It's changing now." She concluded, "Now young girls are getting much more positive message." You know what? I'm going to just completely disagree with her. I don't think Scarlett Johansson is aware at all of what a Twitch dub streamer is. And probably has no clue what an OnlyFans account is. Because, holy shit, young girls are definitely not getting a much more positive message. I can promise you that. Anyways, what do you make of Johansson's recent comments about Black Widow? I don't think that that's all that bad. I do think that, maybe these comments are a little bit blown out of proportion in terms of, like, how bad they actually are. Although, I think it's kind of stupid to complain about the sexualization of Black Widow when it's part of her character. And I always get, like mixed messages from people who I guess would identify more as feminists and everything, where one, it's like you shouldn't sexualize women at all, and that's disrespectful and everything. The other side, it's like OnlyFans and Twitch streamers and fucking ear-licking ASMR. That's totally okay. That's the women's sexuality is totally cool. It feels like there's two completely different fucking messages being given to both men and women. And look, I'm in my 30s now. I don't give a shit about it. I got a beautiful wife. I got a nice house. But I can't imagine what that does for young people who are engaging in relationships when they're given the message that you can't sexualize women, but also the sexualization of women is freeing and empowering. I don't know, but it's a confusing mess. Anyways, I don't think any of this is going to affect the sales of the Black Widow film. I just thought it was interesting. And again, I'm probably going to go see it still. But I'll wait for a couple of reviews to come out because I heard something about Taskmaster, and I'm really hoping it's not true.
Novo lit that shit bang.